What would you do if I gave you a microphone, put you on a stage and said, make people laugh? Boo! Stand-up comedy is arguably one of the scariest things anyone can try.
He be all right. Roll Charlie around. Roll him around a bit. Roll him around.
And seeing as every 3 in 4 people have glossophobia, the fear of public speaking, stand-up comedy is its older brother. And yeah, I have to be honest with you, it scares the shit out of me. There is a term in comedy called bombing. Bombing is a phenomenon in stand-up comedy where a comedian tells their material to a crowd and receives no laughs or a negative response to the material.
What's the deal with popcorn? It doesn't taste like pop, and it sure doesn't look like corn.
You know what I'm saying?
Jesus f***ing Christ, John. What the f***?
And this keeps me up at night. I sometimes get stage fright when telling small groups of people a story. So getting on stage and making people laugh, well, that kind of makes me want to vomit. The Melbourne International Comedy Festival starts next week, and that really got me thinking. With this channel, I'm on a journey to push myself, have more fun, and try new things. Because at the end of the day, life's too short to not do the things that scare you. So for that reason, I thought maybe I can find out how hard it really is to do stand-up comedy. So I'm giving myself 10 days to prepare and perform a stand-up set. Even the thought of me standing up there and telling people jokes on stage just makes me unbelievably uncomfortable. When I get embarrassed or I have any sort of stage fright, I just go red. A full shade of red all over. And I don't want that to happen. So what I've done is I've reached out to a comedian named Gothard.
You know when you go camping and the pool, you're like, I need a proper shower. Like, it's not smelling what it's supposed to smell like.
And she was kind enough to say yes to meet me for a coffee. I'm meeting her now and get some tips and tricks so we can master stand-up comedy. Thank you so much for meeting me. Yeah, so I am challenging myself to do stand-up comedy. I wonder, so when you have a bad experience, how do you deal with bombing?
When you start, bombing is so scary.
Yeah.
It happens so many times that you get desensitized. Everybody bombs. You know, like you hit on a bunch of girls.
Yeah.
Eventually the rejection doesn't get as bad, so
Yeah.
you keep trying. I know, there's a lot of pigeons. I have no food.
So obviously I have never done stand-up, which means I've had no experience with bombing. And as I mentioned earlier, even in small groups of people, I can get stage fright. So I made a plan that, if I'm being honest, I wasn't looking forward to. All right, so Casey said that to deal with bombing, you need to deal with rejection over and over again. So today, we're going to tell really bad jokes to strangers to deal with bombing. I'm legitimately nervous for this. I have no idea how I'm gonna master stand-up when I'm nervous about telling people jokes on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might go up to the tradies actually.
Yeah, do it.
Oh, I don't know if I can do this. Hey lads, can I tell you a joke?
Yep.
What does an eagle and a mole have in common?
I don't know.
They both live underground. Except the eagle. That was horrendous. Hey guys, can I tell you a joke? Do you guys want to hear a joke? I went to a seafood disco. I ended up pulling a muscle.
Sorry.
This is hurting. This is really hurting. All right, so I went to a store to look for some camouflage pants. Couldn't find any.
That's great.
Let's go home. I can't do this anymore. I'm more prepared than I've ever been ever to go up on stage and potentially bomb. Now that I have mastered the art of bombing, it was time to dive into probably the most important part of stand-up comedy. Writing the actual jokes. Do you have any tips for me? I've never written a joke before.
Are you a naturally funny person?
I would say I'm fairly funny.
When is it gonna kick in?
Yeah, that's what I'm still wondering that as well. My family's been asking that for years.
No.
Not off to a great start. Why would I say I think I'm funny?
Like, I tell a lot of jokes about my experiences, myself, my family.
Yeah.
I just write everything, absolutely everything down.
Yeah.
It's basically like premise, setup, punchline.
All right. Writing jokes. How hard can writing jokes really be? Premise, setup, punchline.
A good joke always is what you look like joke. So if people tell you look like something a lot,
I get told the same person over and over
low rent
and over
Logan
again.
Paul.
Oh my god, every single person that I see says, dude, you look so much like Logan Paul. Low rent Logan Paul. Can I just use that? Can I just use exactly what Casey said? So it turns out that writing jokes that are funny is actually a lot more complex than I originally thought. I was shocked at how little I managed to write over the next day. But the good news is that I have another week to prepare for my set. So I've just found out that a mate of mine, Tom Hedley, who I went to high school with, has been doing stand-up comedy. All right, let's give him a call. Hello? Yo, how are ya? It's become clear how difficult it is to write a joke.
It is hard, yeah, I know. But yeah, changing up the subjects can help. Like sex jokes are so easy to write, and they're so much fun to write. Analogies are good as well. Like analogies are such an easy reading.
After Tom gave me some great tips, he proposed something that would definitely kick things into next gear. So what's an open mic place that I can go to, do you reckon?
Tomorrow's a good one, St Kilda. There's a place called The Cellars.
He said I should do my unfinished set tomorrow. So instead of having a week to prepare, I would have about 24 hours. I would need to write the rest of my set tonight then.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night. I literally have maybe 1 or 2 jokes written and they're not great. So I have so much work to do tonight. So instead of the 7 days that I had left, I now have 1. I will be doing my stand-up set tomorrow night.
Oh my god, did it get confirmed?
I spent the next 24 hours trying to write a whole stand-up comedy set. I stayed up until the early morning just writing and preparing and practicing, but I just kept thinking to myself, holy shit, I have to do this on a stage in front of people. I can't tell you how nervous I am. I'm not even there.
I know when you get there and like you see the people and the lights are on and the stage is there.
What are you trying to do here? Oh. So this is my first ever stand-up set. Couple hours to the show. Tell you what, I'll be proud of myself when this is finished and I get up there on stage. It's gonna be a good feeling. But for now, I am going to have a panic attack. So. As I walked through those doors, my nerves were through the roof. But I had no idea that while I was doing my best to hide my nerves, my girlfriend Chelsea was hiding a surprise.
Jack does not know, but I've invited his parents and some of our friends tonight. He's at the front and he has no idea. I think we needed some spice on tonight. He doesn't know anyone's just seen us now.
And spicy it was, because not only will I embarrass myself in front of strangers, but all of my loved ones as well. Brilliant. Oh my god. What have you done? Why are my parents here at this comedy set? I don't actually remember ever being this nervous. Like ever. I was so terrified. And it didn't make it easier when I started seeing more and more of my friends turn up to come and see me. And after about 2 heart attacks and half an hour of listening to other people's sets, I heard this.
Are you Jack, yeah?
I am.
Give it up for Jack, this is his first time.
So, if you didn't know, this is my first ever stand-up set. Thank you. So I know what you're probably thinking. This guy just looks like an Aldi version of Logan Paul. And you'd be right. But there are a couple differences. He may be successful and wealthy and travels the world, but I can go to Japan. Anyway, I will move on. Yeah, so my Logan Paul opening joke didn't land. Chelsea was literally the only one to laugh. And then my worst nightmare happened. I completely forgot what I was going to say next. This is very nerve-wracking and I'm getting so much stage fright. Thank you. So me and my family try and avoid Uncle Toby as much. But after a little cheer from the crowd, I kept going. To the point where we started calling him Nokia. No one speaks to him anymore and he still won't f***ing die. Mum, I know, I just lost 3 demerit points. Hell yeah! Which is usually just called the morning after pill. I couldn't believe that I wasn't actually completely bombing. Like 25 what? It's like $25,000. One, never ever buy anyone a lottery ticket. And two, there's a lot of places to hide a body with $1,000 bucks. That's my second murder joke for the night. Guess you can say I'm killing it. That's my third. Look, this obviously wasn't the world's best stand-up set, but the main thing is I went out there and I did it. I tried something new. Oh my god, I just finished the set. I can't believe I did that. Also, if you've made it this far and you want to watch the full set, I've actually hidden a QR code throughout the video somewhere, so go and find it and watch the full set. Thank you for coming. Alright. Thank you guys, that's my set.
Pan up here real quick. Let me say something. He was